Hello YouTubers, it is Marx here, aka Brandon, and I am just going to show you my warrior build very quickly. So this is just the basic warrior condition build I use in PvP. I have the longbow, as you can see, always a good choice, and then I used a sword and shield. Basically the longbow, obviously most of you will know, I can drop fire down with my burst skill, get a nice hit off of that. 6 stacks of bleeds and an immobilize is always great. A blind, some fire, and then just basic damage. Also, every time I crit, I'll be adding a bleed, so the chance to crit when you're firing multiple arrows is always great, so number 1 there. Then my sword and shield, well, sword, fairly basic. I get a charge, I get a bleed, I get a cripple, and the shield I get a stun, which is great to stun and then flurry and stack a ton of bleeds on them and then block attacks and take no damage. As my heal, I'm using the Signet. It grants me regeneration, which is great, and I'll show you my traits later, and it'll relate to that. I have Berserker Stance, which is reduced condition duration on me, as well as become immune to conditions, which is really great for mitigating condition damage. Super great, actually. This just reduces incoming damage to me off base, breaks stun, and grants stability, which means I'm going to stay unstunned for quite a bit longer. And of course, my banner of tactics, I increase my healing power and boon duration for me and nearby allies. I can switch this out for condition damage or the toughness banner as well. I don't really always just stick with one. I kind of mix it up, see how I feel. Yeah, I mean, the banners are great. You get a buff, you get a bonus, and with my traits, they're really helpful. Most of you probably already know about this build or builds like this. It was very used before. I don't always run it, but it's something fun. And then I always, I use my Signet or I use my flag to revive people. Okay, and traits. Let's look at those. Well, first, you know what? Let's look at the equipment. Just to see what I have. Inflicted bleed duration increased by 20%. Then I have condition damage increased, burn damage increased, and condition damage increased each time I kill a foe on my weapons. I have toughness and condition damage bonus, which Rune of the Dead, as well as 7% of toughness is converted to condition damage. Very powerful. Very good if you have toughness. And then of course this one, precision, toughness, and condition damage. So I'm critting more, which means I'm getting more bleeds. I have more toughness, which means I take less damage and bleed for more damage. And yeah, that's pretty easy, pretty basic. Yeah, it's not a bad build. And then if we look into here, I have increased bleed duration. Awesome. Every time I crit, I stack a bleed, or 33% chance to, which is really great because you hit pretty fast with the sword. Flurry, which is the burst one, you're going to be hitting really fast with it, as well as stacking bleeds already, so you have a chance to stack even more bleeds. Plus I can add Fury, which means I'm going to crit more often, so I have a chance to stack bleeds without even a skill that stacks bleeds. Then gain armor when your health is above the threshold. Extra toughness is always great, means you're going to stay above the threshold for longer. Dodge march, basically anything that would hurt my movement, slow me down, I would lose and gain regeneration. Actually, sorry, I don't lose them. I reduce their durations and I gain regeneration, which is still great. Regenerate health based on adrenaline level, so I'm regenerating health again. And if you look down here, my Signet is going to regenerate health for me. Super fun. Then gain adrenaline when hit, which means I'm going to be able to use my flame and flurry more, my flame circle and my flurry. And remove a condition for every bar of adrenaline used. So I'm curing conditions just by attacking people. That's there's really no downfall. Like, I'm gaining more adrenaline and I'm curing conditions for attacking. It's awesome. Gain power based on toughness. I have lots of toughness, and power makes me hit for a larger base, which is, it's not bad. Like, there's no downfall to that. Then gain retaliation when I get struck by a critical hit. I change this out too sometimes. Sometimes I'll take endure pain, or yeah, the one that activates endure pain at 25% health. It's really more what's preferable to you. Retaliation is a pretty nice buff to get. especially because the cooldown's only 10 seconds and you get it for 6.5 seconds, so you can be getting that up quite a bit if you're facing a crit character. I also gain extra toughness while I'm reviving an ally, which is good to do, obviously. Banners apply their bonuses to a larger area, and their recharge is reduced, which is great, because if you look down here, I'm going to use a banner. I'm also using the one with healing power, which means I can regenerate more from my signet and when I have adrenaline. Shout and cure conditions automatically when you have conditions on you, which is great. No reason to keep conditions on you. Then I gain might every time, you know, I revive an ally, something like that. These are more just basic. I shouldn't really need to explain these. And then I have banners also grant regeneration, which most of you probably would have guessed. So, what does this mean? I have a banner that increases my healing power that also grants regeneration, which means I'm getting more powerful regeneration. I have a signet, which regenerates health. And every time my adrenaline is full, or based on how much adrenaline I have, I regenerate health. So I have 3 different things coming in giving me health, not to mention a block where I don't take damage and an immune to conditions, as well as a signet which reduces my incoming damage. So I'm quite tanky, very tanky actually, considering I'm not even building a bunker, and I do quite a bit of damage because I do just basic power damage because my power and toughness are related. I get extra critical chance and tons of condition damage, especially because I get to stack it for so long. And even though basically if you ever have a choice between condition duration and condition damage, take the damage, because you can cure a condition. So the more you're stacking conditions and the more you can keep your conditions stacking faster and hitting harder while they're actually stacked on, the better, compared to having weak conditions stacked multiple times and then just getting them cured and then having to stack them up to a high level where they're actually pulling the same damage as high condition damage builds would, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's basically my warrior build, and you're going to see me enter PvP and play with it. I hope you enjoy. I know it's probably not the most creative builds, but it's just one build I like to use. Very fun, very easy, very quick to make and learn. Not hard to play, and just really enjoyable to mess around on. Thank you very much. Alright, so this is us playing PvP on our warrior build as we talked about, and we find people in our base. And how ridiculous is that?
Just ridiculous to think that they'd want to take a base from us.
I know. Pretty bad. Yeah, so the Mesmer portals are right beside each other. I don't know what that gained him.
You could could you go back and forth through
go
them and like
back
mess
and
people?
Forth, but I'm pretty sure there's like a cooldown on it.
It'd be really challenging if there wasn't a cooldown on it. Actually,
be kinda cool.
That would be interesting if like they could like have it on one side and like just cast a spell and then go to the other side.
It would be pretty cool. I feel like being able to go from one base to another just like that is maybe more useful for him and his team, but
I guess,
you know, it's his own thing.
I don't know. I've always wanted to try using them on a Mesmer, but I've never been brave enough. No, but anyways, that's not really what we're talking about in this build.
No, it's not. But yeah, so this guy dies. I do a lot of condition damage, as we talked about already, and I put my fire down, and now there's an elementalist, and I think we actually make this one out of here too. Yeah, he's gonna go down now with me and my team here.
You're I don't know how you stay up at like 4K for so long. Like it's without using your heal too.
I know. Well, for one, we talked about in my build, my heal regenerates health. I get a block, absorb damage. I also have, I have my heal, my signet regenerates health. I put my flag down, which gives me increased healing power, which also gives me regeneration. And the more adrenaline I have, the more health I regen.
So it's just pretty.
It's basically nothing
crazy.
But constantly regenerating your health.
So it's worth keeping your heal, like not using it, like you
usually
actually heal more.
I do that. Sometimes I panic and use it, and it gives me, if I know I'm going down, I'll sometimes use it and just try and
stay for that like extra few seconds
for like the last, just to try and get that extra little bit in. Yeah, he ported out and then ported right back in. Didn't really make a lot of sense.
Don't know why he did it.
For a second I was like, oh no, he stopped it, and then he came right back in, and I was like, oh, never mind.
Then you kind of go out here to check for him, then he goes back in here, and
we find him again, which is just no good for them. And I'm AoEing the thief so he can't heal up while the Ellie's here, and now they're both dead again.
So overall, do you find you can sustain you can sustain really long fights, obviously, with this build. Like there's no like need to stop or anything.
There's no need to really worry about how long the fight's going to go on, whereas on other classes or other builds, sometimes you want to end it faster, sooner than, you know, keep up with it. Yeah. What's nice about this is you can sustain a ton of damage and still not have to worry about how soon do I have to take him down before I don't have any more cooldowns to kind of stop me from dying. It's kind of like, hey, I'm just going to sit here and regenerate health and do as much damage as I can.
Well, and you do a lot of damage too. That's the more almost most disturbing part of it is that you're super survivable, but you also can kill really quickly with the dots.
Yeah, it's just a really strong condition build. As you can see here, I get the boss steal, and then I get the Ellie kill, and I'm going to go for the Mesmer after.
Just ridiculous, really. Like, it's actually pretty concerning how survivable this build is.
It's kind of, yeah, it feels dirty. This was pretty commonly used before. I'm sure most of our viewers have seen this. It's just, I thought it would be a fun build to make a video of. My warrior often alternates between builds. In World v World, you'll see me using regenerate. Like, I obviously regenerate my health, and I use a critical build though, and it's a bit different than my Spvp build, but I often switch it up. I think I'm going to want to try some condition in World v World, because you can get even more toughness than you can in Spvp, which is just ridiculous.
Wow, that is actually... So you took him down to half health before he got to the base here, just by like dotting him with your bow. Like
even my explosion hits really big for like the number 3 on the bow, for how it's not actually a crit build.
That's really crazy.
Yeah. Also, the great thing is I stack bleeds with my number 1 on the bow, because every time I crit, and shooting 2 or 3 arrows gives me way better chance to crit.
Yeah, because there's more arrows, right? That just makes sense. So really, you're not super concerned ever when you're running into a fight, like
no.
unless there's 5 versus 1 or something
like that. But usually, if it's if I'm down a number or 2, I'm not terribly concerned. I'll just pick a squishy class and start, and I'll lay down my fire and hopefully try to trap 1 or 2 of them in my flurry after that in the fire, so that I'm stacking a ton of bleeds as well as flame.
And try probably to get your fire on the center of the base as much as you can, right?
Yeah,
like
always stacking the fire on the base, so that it's always a harmful thing for them to try and fight you on the base.
Yeah, which you kind of hope they're doing.
This ranger is just terrible. Like, I didn't even know he was attacking me until they were all dead, and then, I mean, he just drops like nothing.
Yeah, your dots do an incredible amount of damage actually to him, and he just runs away with them on too.
He just gives up. He's just like, this is all over for me.
Just a mean guy to him. So I guess this would be the one downfall to the build, I guess, for this
breaking down gates.
Breaking down gates is like you don't have the crit
main hit. Yeah. The crit power. Well, even the crit's not that effective.
I guess it's the power, right? Like, yeah.
But then their team comes to fight us, and we're gonna fight them back. And I'm gonna go for the Necro, because he's got... Well, honestly, this build's kind of weak against Necros in some cases, because they're very strong condition builders too. So they have quite a bit of immunity against conditions, as well as removing conditions and then transferring them to you. So you always have to be a bit more cautious when fighting a Necro, because they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve to give you your conditions right back, or just heal off of them.
And would they be your biggest...
Honestly, in my warrior build, the Necros are the ones that I have the most trouble facing, probably, just because of their, like, everybody else, right? They have a little bit of condition cure, but it's never really a worry.
Yeah.
Because I can just stack them up right again really easily.
Yeah. So they just have enough of it that it becomes a serious issue.
Yeah. Well, even when I play on my Necro, like, my heal, every time I get conditions on me, I absorb them and heal for them.
Yeah.
I can transfer them using both of my weapon sets. Like, I can do a lot of condition removal as well as just giving it right back to the enemy. It's great, and I can just go into my form, and then the condition damage is like nothing.
Right. Okay. So
what's beautiful here is that they both like die beside each other, so I can just kind of swipe at both of them.
A bad choice, really.
Yeah, it's not a great choice.
If you could choose where to die.
Try and split up.
Yeah. That's our fucking coffee machine.
That's the fucking coffee machine. Yeah. Okay, so the coffee machine made a feature into our video.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that beeping.
Yeah, so at the end here, me and our necromancer friend on our team here go and do kill their boss, and I do pop my heal there just to give me a bit more health.
But you survive super well.
I do. I'm able to spread my dots out enough, as well as the necro, that I can kill like the guards and then revive off them, as well as the enemy team, which keeps running in to fight us. There's, I believe, an Ellie. I think they had like a guardian come in at one point, maybe, and a mesmer. So we're able to take down the boss for the final kill here and just get off of killing everything, basically.
All right, so that's pretty much the video for this build. Very survivable, obviously. So thanks for watching. Give it a like if you liked it, and stay tuned for more. This has been Csaw and Marx.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, guys.
And I'm dead.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to like it. If you have a comment about it, or a suggestion for a future video, please leave one. If you have friends, share it. And finally, and most importantly, subscribe. Honestly, only one of these is red. Click it.